Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
How are you?
Yeah, fine.
Good. My name is
Uh,
Martin. I'm in Toronto, Canada. And your name?
yeah. My name is Max.
hmm Welcome to Cambly Max.
Okay. So,
Where are you from?
I'm from Taiwan. Today, I want to practice about the finance word. I didn't know how much the word about finance. So maybe you can teach me.
Sure.
And I don't know much more. So we can start from basically finance word.
hmm So tell me about you. Tell me a little bit about you. Are you a student or do you work?
Yes, I have work. I'm 40 now. So
Oh, no, you're joking.
yeah, I'm 40. Yes, because maybe
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I hope you take that as a compliment.
okay. So I have a daughter. Yeah. So she's 3 years old.
hmm
Yes, so I just want to learn English. Maybe I can practice to speak very well. So
hmm
I choose Cambly to start practice my English.
Okay, perfect. Let me find some i- idioms in common business idioms. Do you know what an idiom is?
No, I don't know.
hmm An idiom is, for example, I can say something is as easy as a piece of pie. So something is simple, we say it's a piece of cake or a piece of
Yes,
pie. This
yes.
is called an idiom. So I'll
The
show you
idiom.
an idiom.
So can you type the word for me?
Sure. I'll put it up on the screen for you now.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Common business idiom. Okay.
So, for example, in English, we can say back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board.
hmm This is an English idiom we use in English business when we describe going back to start the program or plan over again. For example, a drawing board is where you make the plan. If you have to
Yes.
go back and do it again, it's because the plan didn't work. So back to the drawing board means starting over.
Starting over.
Mhm.
So if I want to back, so I want to make a sentence for the back to the drawing board. How
Mhm.
can I say?
I'll
Uh,
show it to you. Don't worry, I'll explain it to you. I didn't give you much information yet. Read this little line for me.
to go back to the drawing board means to start something over and go back to the planning stage.
I'll show you an example. I'll write an example on the board for you. The prototype was not or wasn't successful. We have to go back to the drawing board.
The prototype was successful. We have to go back to the drawing board.
We have to go
Okay.
back to the beginning.
We have to go to beginning. So we have
Mhm.
to go to beginning and we have to go to the drawing board. That's the same meaning.
That's right.
Okay, we have to go back to the drawing board. Yeah,
Yes, very good. We have to go back to the drawing board means we have to start over
yeah,
in
we have to
business.
go. We have to start over in business. Yeah,
Hmm.
so plan A is not work. So I have to join. We have to back to the drawing board. That means
Yeah,
we want to start over.
start the plan or the project again. Good,
Good. Thank you.
no problem. I'll actually let me give it to you now. I'll give you the link where all these words come from, and we can practice them. You can look at it when you're alone or after the lesson. So I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I'll give you the whole package.
Okay. Most common business idiom.
Read it for me, okay? There are many idioms used in business world.
There are many idioms used in the business world. If you don't understand this expression, it is easy to get lost in a conversation. Below is a chart of some of the most common idioms used at work. Although most of these idioms are used in both British, British and American English, the chart was designed to include the most common business idiom in American English.
Hmm.
Also see the idiom builder for practice with hundreds of idioms.
Hmm.
The most common
So
business.
if someone says you can come anytime, they might say we're open 24/7. Come anytime, we're open 24/7. It means around the clock every day.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
convenience store on the corner is open 24/7.
The convenience.
The convenience store
Hmm.
on the corner is open 24/7.
Hmm.
So we can say 24/7 or we can say 24/7 or other.
No, we
Uh,
just say 20. We just say 24/7.
okay, okay,
Hmm. We don't need the slash.
okay. We
Hmm.
don't need slash. So next one, a tough break.
Hmm.
Tough break. When
I'll give you an
something,
example. My
yes,
friend said to me, he just lost his job. And I said to him, oh, what a tough break.
what a tough break. So,
I just lost, oh, my house just burned down. Oh no, what a tough break.
okay. So that's a yes. It's a very tough time, tough break
Hmm.
to maybe I lost my job, I lost my money, my
Hmm.
house. It's a tough break.
That's many. That's many. You lose all of these things. I'm sure, Max, that you'll be more than saying I had a tough break. You'll say my life is going to ruin.
Yeah, yeah. My life is ruined. Yes, yeah,
you lose your
yes,
you lose your job, your money, and your house. You have a tough situation to deal with.
yeah. That's a very situation. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So ahead of the curve. To I don't understand.
Okay. This is a little complicated because they use a bell curve. Do you know what a bell curve is?
Bell curve. No, I don't
The
understand.
bell. Okay, it's kind of complicated to explain, but it moves, okay? And you want to stay in front of it. So the curve is the competition. Just replace curve with competition. So you want to stay ahead of the competition.
Ahead of the competition.
For example, for example, Apple wants to stay ahead of the curve and be more innovative than Samsung. So it wants to stay ahead of Samsung. So Apple is very creative.
So Samsung is creative. They are competition.
For Apple.
For Apple. 拿去，你要看第二集哦。你可不可以等我一下？Hold on, my daughter.
No, it's not a problem.
等一下哦。好了。So Apple and Samsung, they are competition, and because they build the same product, and so they have competition in the business, right?
Right.
Okay. So ahead of the curve, that means more advanced than more advanced than the competition. To be ahead means to be. We invest in a lot of money in. I still don't understand the curve of competition.
Okay, let me try to explain it this way. It's because we need to understand what a bell curve is. And it's kind of complicated because it has to do with an algorithm, and I can't explain that well because I don't understand it that well. But hang on.
The curve is like this. The curve.
Yes. And it moves on a chart. It moves on a chart. If you could imagine, do you ever look at the stock market? If you ever look at a chart in the stock market, you'll see the curve will move along the line as the stock moves up and down with its price.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to stay ahead of the movement? You want to stay ahead of the curve.
I
The
want to
curve
stay
is the
ahead
movement.
the movement. So, I maybe I want Apple and Samsung competition. So, but maybe Apple is ahead of the curve.
That's
because
right.
Because it is they are first in the world.
Maybe.
Okay.
Let me explain bell curve. Just let me jump in quickly. Bell curve is a graph of distribution, large rounded peak tapered away at each end. So the curve moves along the chart as the price and the date change. It's a mathematical equation.
Yes. Okay. So bell curve is like this.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it moves along the line. It moves along the line as the stock price changes, it moves. And you want to stay ahead of it. You want to stay in front of it because it is the competition.
Okay. So if I win the business, I am ahead of the curve.
That's right. If you can get the business, if you can maintain your number one position, it's because you're ahead of the curve.
Okay, so I understand that.
Okay.
So another ahead of the pack.
Very similar. Very similar. The pack is the group, right? A pack. If you can imagine a pack of people running, a group of runners in a marathon. If you could imagine running in a marathon, you want to stay ahead of the pack, the group of people chasing you.
Oh, yeah, I understand. A pack, a group, so many people or many company but I am ahead of all the company.
Mm-hmm. Ah,
Yeah,
perfect. Right. Right.
yeah,
Good.
okay, okay. ASAP. That I know that's as soon as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
can I say ASAP or
ASAP.
I just can
We say no. That's a good question. You can say ASAP. ASAP.
ASAP ASAP?
Mhm.
Okay,
So I want you to send me the document ASAP.
okay. I will send you a document as ASAP.
Perfect. Hmm.
Okay. Add steak. Add steak. Steak. That mean the uh, beef on the
But it's spelled differently. It's STEAK. This is
as
STAKE.
oh. So how to pronounce a steak? A steak.
Same.
A steak.
Same.
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 S
Steak.
T A K. At a
Hmm.
steak. That
So in
means
this
at a
case,
risk.
at risk. So if you invest in the stock market, you might have some money at stake. It replaces
Yes.
the word
Mm,
risk.
okay. So um, I put money on stock market at a risk. At a stake.
I put my money in the market and
I
it's at stake. My money is at stake. It's at risk.
I put money in stock market and it's at stake.
Right, exactly.
So
I have money, I have something at stake. For example, you can use it in many. Someone will say to you, I can get a job because my resume is good, but I did something in the past and now my job is at stake. I did something wrong in the past and now my job is at stake.
now my job is at stake. Yeah. So
Or I'm a
every
little,
risk.
here, there's a good one here. I'm a little nervous about giving this presentation. There's a lot at stake.
There's a lot of stake. So
He
because
could get a job, he could lose his job, many things at stake during the presentation.
many risk and the at stake at risk. That's the same meaning.
Hmm. Right.
Okay. Okay. So and the eating food, the steak, that's a same word.
It
The
sounds the
beef
same. Yes, it means
sounds the same.
a piece of beef. It just sounds the same, spelled differently.
Spelled differently. Okay,
Mhm.
STAKE and the other one is ST. I don't know how to spell
EAK.
STEAK. Okay, okay. All right. Okay. So
Just to
okay,
make
next
your life
one.
more complicated.
Okay. So back to square one. Square. That means square.
This
Back to
square. If you play a board game, if you play a board game and you don't do well, you take your piece and you go back to square one. You go back to the original square you started from. Do you know how you play some board games with dice? You must have played with your daughter, moving on a
yeah.
board game, like
Yes.
snakes and ladders.
Yes. So
If
uh
you slide down the snake, you go back to the beginning, the original square, square
yes.
one.
So back to square. That mean to get over start.
Square one. You need
Square
to
one.
include square one, right?
Using into square one. Okay. means start something over again. Yeah, that's it. So I have to restart, start over again. Yes, I can back to square one. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that means that's from the game or maybe okay, should it be game? Yeah.
Hmm. They have a good example here. The programmers identified what they thought the problem was with the software. After working for several hours, it turns out that the problem is something different. We're back to square one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Back to square one. Okay, I understand. So back to the drawing board. Yeah, that's the same meaning.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, and the backroom deal. Backroom deal
We hear
is
this in politics, often in politics.
politics. That mean I don't politics.
Politics is like the government.
Ah, okay.
So the backroom
So
deal is a deal that the public doesn't have any knowledge of.
without the public knowing about it. So uh, backroom deal. That means they deal something, but nobody knows.
That's
No,
right.
no.
Hmm.
In the public, no one knows.
That's right. Hmm. So
Oh,
no one knows what happened in the back room because it's secret. The back room, if you could imagine a shop or a store, and behind it is a back room. This is where all the deals happen. All the business people of the community meet with the politicians and make deals about the future of the government. It's called a backroom deal.
so backroom deal is used for the government or the business. Can be used that word.
Right, in both, but often means something secret that's not always a good thing. If you have to hide it, it's because you're shy about it. There's something wrong with it, maybe, but you have to do it in secret. So it's not always a good thing.
Okay. So if I backroom deal with my friend, can I use that word?
Well, that's it. That's exactly a good point because you wouldn't do a backroom deal with your friend. A backroom deal is usually to do something behind someone's back. To do something
Yes.
behind
Yes.
someone's back is not to their knowledge. So why would you do something to your friend in secret? Unless you worked with your friend, unless you and your friend created a backroom deal to influence someone else.
Okay. So I can use the word uh, with friend or government or a business that I can use a backroom deal.
Mhm. It means
Okay.
a plan that you make that no one knows about.
Okay. That I understand. Yes. Backroom deal. So I think they got the government contract because of the background deal. Yeah. So another ballpark number figure. Ballpark number is very inexact estimate. I don't understand. Ballpark
Okay,
number.
let me try to explain. In a ballpark, you know where you play baseball?
Yes, baseball.
It's a
Yeah.
ballpark. Right, right. Where we play is a ballpark. Okay? Now I ask you a question. How many people are in the ballpark? There's no way to know the exact number, right? You can, but it's difficult. So you can say to someone, I don't know the number. I'll give you a ballpark figure. And we use it as an idiom because we can't know how many people are watching the baseball game, right?
Yes.
So it's a
So
guess. You can say, oh, we have 70,000 people watching the baseball game, but it's just an estimate, a rough guess. It's inexact.
it's a rough number from I guess the number of the maybe something, and it's called best park num- number.
Ballpark.
Well, ballpark number.
Good. So it's a guess. The best way to describe it is guessing a number. So, for example, you won't know how much Donald Trump's has in terms of money, but you can guess there's a ballpark number about how much he's worth.
Okay, so if I want, okay, so if I don't know a number exactly, so I can use
Mhm.
the ballpark number.
Right. Or you ask, commonly we will ask someone and they will say, I don't know. I'll give you a ballpark number. So someone will say
Okay.
to you, how many times, how many children are in your daughter's class? And you can say, I don't know. I'll give you a ballpark number. There are 30.
Uh, I give you a ballpark number. It's maybe it's a 30.
Hmm. Right.
Okay. So okay, next. Behind someone back. To do
Hey, we're out of
something behind
time. Where
someone
is the
means
time
to
gone?
do.
We have to, Max, I'm sorry. We
Yes.
have to say goodbye. We're out of time. I
Oh,
don't
okay,
know.
okay, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, see you next. Bye bye.
I hope so.